Welcome in, along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo. Today discussing the best offensive lines in the NFL, all based off the PFF play-by-play grading. Also the worst offensive lines. We'll get to those as well. Let's start with the best offensive lines. You can see the whole list over at ProFootballFocus.com. But now, starting at number 5, we're counting down at number 5 with the Los Angeles Rams. What did you see from them last week, and how have they moved on these rankings?
Yeah, they're so dominant early in the season, but at the same time, they're facing some of the worst defensive lines in the NFL there early in the season, have somewhat come back down to earth. The one guy, Austin Blythe, right guard, still been fantastic for them, but over the last 3 games has allowed almost as many pressures as he did over the first 7. So a lot of the guys in that offensive line very talented still, but that's why they've dropped down to number 5 in our rankings.
And coming in at number 4, am I seeing this right? Is this the right
crazy.
team?
This one is crazy.
It says the Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Are we sure?
We are sure.
All right, the Colts are at number 4. How much of this is scheme? How much of this is improvement? I know Luck's getting rid of the ball a little bit quicker, but the line is coming in at 4. Our grades will account for that.
So he's getting rid of it quicker, but comparatively to the slowest time in the NFL, which is what it used to be. They had the most dropbacks we've ever seen that took more than 2.6 seconds in some of his healthy seasons. Now he's getting rid of the ball, a lot more quick passing concepts, but at the same time, the offensive line is just pass blocking much, much better. Quentin Nelson has come on from early in the season. They haven't allowed a sack since week 5.
That's great.
Over that time span, 128 dropbacks. They've allowed only 23 total pressures. Nelson's been a big part of that. Braden Smith coming in at right tackle has been a big part of that, the other rookie, and Anthony Costanzo back from being hurt early in the season. I mean, when they're fully healthy right now, look at one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, 4th, very justified.
Staying in the AFC South, coming in at number 3, it's the Tennessee Titans, a line that's continued to improve. I know they gave up, 11 sacks in one game, but look, sacks aren't all on the offensive line. That game in particular was not all their fault, but since that point, they've been really good.
I was going to say gave up in quotation marks. Marcus Mariota was sacked 11 times.
Right.
Many of those not along the offensive line. Marcus Mariota holding it far too long. But at the same time, since that game, they've been much improved. Marcus Mariota still has been holding the ball for a long time, yet has not been sacked. This past week, they had Taylor Lewan, was one of the top 3 graded offensive linemen. Ben Jones was the highest graded center. They had a very good day. They fueled that win against the Patriots.
Coming in at number 2, it's the Green Bay Packers. They've been pretty much the best pass-blocking offensive line in the NFL this season, anchored by David Bakhtiari, but it's more than just him at left tackle.
Yeah, I don't think there's an offensive line that's asked to do more in pass protection than the Green Bay Packers in terms of they rarely run play action, they run a lot of deep dropbacks, and Rodgers holds the ball back there for a long time. So they're going to have high sack numbers because, again, it's just difficult to hold up no matter who you are when a quarterback's holding it 3.5, 4 seconds like Rodgers is. But at the same time, the pressure numbers are not that as high as you would expect for that. That's why they were grading so well in pass protection. And then this past week, Aaron Jones on his 15 carries got 102 yards before contact. They were opening up some gaping holes for him.
Huge holes for Aaron Jones in that one. And then coming in at number 1 for the second straight week, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the story with them, I think, over the last 3 years, really, no real stars. You know, they've got just a great line across the board, the whole starting 5.
Yeah, as a unit, they play as well together as any unit in the NFL, and the pass protection that we've seen of them of late is just absurd. This past week, 30 dropbacks, they allowed 3 total pressures. Wow. That's just, you're not gonna beat a team if you only pressure the quarterback 3 times all game long. I don't care who you are, that's what they've been since the early season injuries that they saw. Now that they're back, it's been fantastic.
And they did that against the Carolina Panthers team that's top 5 in pressure rate. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum. We're going to count up now. So starting at number 28 in the bottom 5 offensive lines in the league. At 28, it's the Los Angeles Chargers, moving down from 26th after week 9.
It's almost a testament to the Chargers and to Melvin Gordon that he's still doing so well behind this offensive line, but it's still an improvement over what he's seen the rest of his career. This is still actually a better offensive line than we've seen from them in years past. Mike Pouncey has brought some, continuity to the middle of that line that was so bad a season ago in terms of allowing pressure. But again, they played the Oakland Raiders and they allowed a sack. If you allow the Oakland Raiders to sack your quarterback, that's usually not a good thing. And they hadn't had a sack in 3 weeks before coming into this one. Sacked him actually twice. One got negated by a penalty, but not the best showing for the Chargers line.
The Raiders have the lowest pressure rate by 5% lower than the next closest team. Phillip Rivers, testament to his skills this year, too. Number 1 passer rating under pressure. He's been doing it despite the O-line. Also doing it despite the offensive line. Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, they come in at number 29, the same ranking as last week on their bye. And Cousins has played so well under pressure, and he's also faced a ton of pressure so far this season.
Yeah, and it's a real indictment of that line that the highest graded player on that front is the rookie second-round pick, Brian O'Neill, who pretty much was universally said as a guy who's probably not ready to start year one. He has a lot to fix. Probably down the line could be good, but not ready to start year one. He comes in, highest graded player. I mean, he still hasn't been that good, but that's the highest graded player on that line.
Coming in at number 30 on the offensive lines, it's the Oakland Raiders. They can't really rush the passer. They're not doing a good job in pass protection either, even with Derek Carr with the lowest average depth of target in the NFL.
Yeah, this might have been Colton Miller's rock bottom for a pretty rough rookie season here so far because, well, he was going up against fellow rookie Uchenna Nwosu for the Los Angeles Chargers. Just got his butt whipped. You got to lay up 6 pressures to Nwosu, who really has not been all that great this season. And then the icing on the cake, late drive in the fourth quarter, one-on-one versus Derwin James, the guy that they passed on to pick Colton Miller. Beats him for an inside pressure. It wasn't even really close.
That's
just
not an insult, though. Derwin's the best pass rushing rookie.
Yeah, but it added insult to injury in terms of they passed on him, still got it.
Oakland's been rough. Coming in at number 31, it's the Miami Dolphins. There was a point during the season where it looked like they were getting better from where they were in past years. I think injuries have really hurt.
Yes.
But they're at number 31 for the second straight week.
Yeah, when you lose both your starting tackles, I don't really care who you are, you're probably not going to have a good offensive line. That was the case this past week. Laramie Tunsil, Jawan James out, and the interior was always the weak spot of that line. They were going up against Kenny Clark and Mike Danielson. It just wasn't pretty.
And then coming in at number 32 for the second straight week, it's the Arizona Cardinals. No matter which way you slice our numbers, Josh Rosen, 4th most pressured snaps, but it's the speed at which it comes, and it's the how many pressures are coming on the same play. This offensive line has struggled in all key areas.
Yeah, and I didn't think it could get much worse, but then I had Patty out this week. Jeremy Vunovic comes in at left guard, and, well, he gave up 3 sacks in this one. Not a great showing. There's really just no hope for this line. They need an influx of talent and an influx of talent quickly.
I do have hope. They play the Oakland Raiders this week.
Hey,
something has to give. Pillow fight between the Oakland Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals. So there you have it, the best and worst offensive lines in the NFL through 10 weeks.